All right, let's talk about Rome Odunze of the Chicago Bears, the first round pick. They selected him very early on in the draft. Obviously, they had Caleb Williams with pick number one, but another guy they're very excited to see is this very hyped up wide receiver prospect that would have been the first wide receiver drafted in most draft classes. This one just happened to be kind of a an all-time wide receiver draft class. So how did Odunze play? Well, let's get into it. First, there was kind of some simple stuff, like something like this. It's a zone coverage concept. You see his job on this play, go over the middle of the field and try and find a gap in coverage to sit down on. He doesn't know it's zone coverage at the time. They're lined up as though it's man, but once he finds out it's zone, that's what he's supposed to do. And when this play begins, I'm going to say he does a pretty good job at this, right? I mean, he isn't quite at the first down marker yet, but I do think if he got an accurate ball at this point, he'd be able to turn around and pick up the extra yard he needs to pick up the first down on 3rd and 5. So to me, this is good stuff. And when you have a receiver who can run the simple routes effectively, well, that's just, very helpful, right? Sometimes a receiving core isn't about having a bunch of guys who can just run these dominant routes. It's having a bunch of guys who can just run a solid route that could probably get you open or run solid setup routes, that kind of stuff. The best receiving cores have that. On this play, the ball went somewhere else. It was complete, but not for a first down. Might have had a better chance if Williams threw it towards Odunze on that one. Although, of course, easy to say that in hindsight, right? But, I would say a good route by Odunze. This play is another fun one. So it's a 3rd down and 2 right here, and it's going to be man coverage once again. It's a cover 1 man play, which you see a lot in the preseason, right? Teams want to see what they have in their corners, so they'll give them kind of higher stress situations. And so right here, Odunze is getting a great opportunity to show something, right? A one-on-one matchup, go route on the outside. The reality is the best teams in football can win in these situations, except for the Chiefs. They didn't do that last year. That was weird, but they have Mahomes. It's a whole weird thing with them. But for most teams, that's how it works. But yeah, anyway, let's see how Odunze is going to do here. Well, Caleb Williams takes a snap, and you see Odunze just basically walked right by the corner who's trying to cover him. I looked at the corner, tried to create a little bit of contact, but Odunze's too big. It doesn't work. And Odunze also has really good explosiveness, right? So he's already past him. As you see, the ball once again doesn't go in Odunze's area, but Odunze had a step on that corner who is covering him. And what it also can sometimes do is, if you see that, the safety might have to run over in that direction, so even if the ball doesn't go there, it can still help out. The safety didn't go in that direction. Again, I'm not going to blame Caleb Williams for looking at DJ Moore's slant route on a 3rd and 2. That's the route I would have looked at in that situation. But had Williams thrown the ball up to Odunze and made an accurate throw, that could have been a 70-yard touchdown. It really could have. A play like this is a small one, but a fun one, where they're going to actually flip the ball to Odunze, and it's going to be a rushing play on this one, which is interesting because I feel like when you think of Odunze, you don't really think of him as that kind of player, right? You think of him more as a, downfield threat, a, contested catch guy, someone who can move and can do things with the ball in his hands, but that's not really what he's known for. So it's interesting to see that the Bears maybe they're just trying to see what they have in him if he can do this kind of thing. Well, anyway, you're going to see Williams flip the ball back to Odunze, who is running in this direction, and a credit to the number 45 for Cincinnati. He's rushing him pretty well, trying to make a tackle. This is not going as well as maybe you were hoping it would go if you're Odunze. But watch this move he's pulling off, and he gets around that linebacker with ease. Sure, it's a wide receiver on a linebacker. It's a bit of a mismatch, but at the same time, he made that look easy. And not only did he get around him, he got around him in a way where he was able to still pick up a good amount of yards as well. He picks up the first down on that play. This is really, I think, good stuff by Rome Odunze. And then I have to talk about this play as well, despite the fact that it's a play where we can only say so much about Odunze. This was the play that got the internet going crazy because of Caleb Williams' contribution to it. But let's focus on Rome Odunze, and he's going to be off screen for a decent chunk of this play. So sorry, going to use the footage I can. But the way this play is designed to work is his job is pretty simple. find a gap in coverage over the middle, and that's kind of it. Williams takes the snap. He looks, I believe he's looking in Odunze's direction, might not be, but either way, he doesn't love what he sees down the field right now. So he's going to try and do the Caleb Williams thing, right, of scramble around. And for Odunze, where he's at right now is he's over the middle of the field. If Williams doesn't love what he sees, you can assume Odunze isn't particularly open right now, but Odunze knows the top of the screen will be clear. So that's where Odunze is going to run. Him and Williams kind of both have the same idea at the same time. Let's get up there, and for Odunze, he runs towards the top of the screen, then starts running deep, and as of right here, you see how open he is. This is just him reading the play, realizing the situation. Okay, things are broken down. Let me find a spot where I can be open, and he's given Williams a window. Now, Williams makes what's still probably the throw of the preseason there, but Odunze makes a tough catch on top of it. That is not easy. That was, a pretty good job by 28 there for Cincinnati, coming back, nearly making a play. It just wasn't quite enough. So, like I said, it would be weird to make this video without bringing up this play, but also it's a kind of a weird play to bring into the film study, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. It is very good stuff by Odunze. So yeah, as a whole, I think a pretty good performance. Again, the play that was his big highlight was one that was kind of a weird play. Things broke down, and it was more of a Caleb Williams highlight than a Rome Odunze highlight. In fact, I bet some people didn't even realize it was Odunze who made the catch because everyone was freaking out over Caleb Williams' throw, and again, very rightfully so. It was an amazing play by him. But I do think that watching his film and just focusing on him, you saw some real flashes when the ball wasn't coming his way. You saw him be able to win one-on-ones on the outside, which is very promising for a guy who, I feel like we almost group all these guys in together. Of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, there is a chance Rome Odunze ends up being the best of the bunch. That's not out of the question. He was drafted with a top 10 pick. There is a lot of hype around this guy, and he was, usually the third wide receiver, but he was kind of considered in that top tier with Malik Neighbors and with Marvin Harrison Jr. He was usually the third guy, but that's because those two guys are incredible prospects, and Odunze is an incredible prospect. Usually guys like him don't fall as far as he fell in the draft. It's just simply because of there were two other, all-time great wide receiver prospects. There really isn't a lot of negatives to take away right now. Receivers are always so weird because when you don't win, you just don't get the ball, so no one notices your negatives. But even watching the film, I thought he was winning pretty consistently, and when he was winning, it was good wins, not just barely eking by. So yeah, I think good stuff by Odunze in the small sample size that we've seen him play. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And I forgot to give, I guess I should give a rating for how he played. It was good. I don't know, like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I'll go with 7, I suppose. I'll go 8. Let's be generous. 8 out of 10 for Odunze. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.